Are you ready, Roger?
Yes, sir.
Good evening and welcome to our August meeting. School has started. That's why I see all the smiles, huh? I know a lot of parents are smiling. Okay, let's call this meeting to order and start with our invocation and pledges to our flags.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Rise if you can. Not, please bow your heads. As we gather here today at the start of a new school year, let us take a moment to reflect on the shared purpose that brings us together. We are here to support the education and growth of the students in our community and to work together with respect, compassion, and a spirit of collaboration. We acknowledge the hard work of our educators, our students' dedication, our families' commitment, and the leadership of our board and staff. May we approach this year with open minds, ready to listen, learn, and contribute to improving our schools. Let us move forward with a renewed sense of purpose, striving to create a positive and inclusive environment where every student has the opportunity to thrive. May our decisions tonight and throughout this year be guided by wisdom, fairness, and a deep commitment to the well-being of all. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Okay. Recognitions.
We are very lucky to be recognizing one of our teachers from Resnick Middle School. So Jenny Collier is going to share some information, but we're very excited about this recognition.
Yes, we have Resident Middle School Restorative Practice Coach Ira Cheney, if you please come forward, along with Carol Hill from Employee Support of the Guard and Reserve. They're presenting a statement of support regarding the district's support of employees in the military, Guard, and Reserves.
Good afternoon. We are very, very pleased to be here. For the, I'm, where, oh, I have with me another one of our volunteers, Larry Rogers, who's come to be with us to observe and to assist a little bit. For those of you who don't know, ESGR, Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, is an office of the Department of Defense, and we are the ones who work with employers and the military members who are serving in the reserve components all over the country and in our territories, and we are all volunteers. And we are very pleased. We have, one of the things that we have is something that places like the school district or USAA or Joe's Plumbing Shop, whatever, has the opportunity to sign what is called the Statement of Support. And Dr. Ball has agreed. She knows about this. This is not a legally binding document. This is just something that says, well, I may read a few words here. I won't. All right. Oh, you got the whole thing.
Unless you wanted me to read it.
Hey, we can do that
Okay.
because it says we and you're we. So it is something, though. Go ahead, Dr.
Okay.
Ball.
Okay. So statement of support for the Guard and Reserve. Southwest Independent School District. We recognize the Guard and the Reserve as essential to the strength of our nation and the well-being of our communities. In the highest American tradition, the patriotic men and women of the Guard and the Reserve serve voluntarily in an honorable and vital profession. They train to respond to their community and their country in a time of need. They deserve the support of every segment of our society. If these volunteer forces are to continue to serve our nation, increased public understanding is required of the essential role of the Guard and the Reserve in preserving our national security. Therefore, we join employers in pledging that we fully recognize, honor, and comply with the Uniform Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act. We will provide our managers and supervisors with the tools they need to effectively manage those employees who serve in the Guard and the Reserve. We appreciate the values, leadership, and unique skills service members bring to the workforce and will encourage opportunities to employ Guardsmen, reservists, transitioning service members, and veterans. We will continue to recognize and support our country's service members and their families in peace, in crisis, and in war. And I will now sign.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you. That is also, this document is co-signed by the Secretary of Defense, so she's got it right there for them. And I want to add to that, in today's military, about 47% of our total defenses lie in the reserve components. All right. So thank you, Dr. Ball. Now I have one more thing that I need to say, and I leave this here with, whomever gets it. You want to take it?
Ms. Parsons.
Okay, right there. Good. All right. We are very, very pleased and extremely proud that the school district, that you have done this, because we know it's important. However, when we first started the conversation, I was thinking, okay, what do we really want to do? I told you a little fib. Come back. We know that you have been supportive. We already know a little bit about you.
Thank you.
Ira, he has a few things that he'd like to say. Give this to me, and I'll get out of the way.
Good afternoon to all board members, our superintendent, and members of this community. I would like the certificate of appreciation to be awarded to my supervisor, Dr. Jeanette Ball. Upon my retirement on June 14th of 2024 at 3 p.m. at JBSA Lackland, as the superintendent, her efforts have been pivotal on my ongoing employment in the United States Air Force. For example, the district openly honors and supports veterans, which makes my focus and teaching stress-free. The environment that has been cultivated is exemplified throughout the district and the communities we serve. Furthermore, teachers support veterans, which eliminates hostility when serving our country. In addition, the pressure of worrying about my absence on the campus are not existent. Finally, students genuinely show compassion that is noticeable when they return to campus. In closing, veterans like myself and students aspire to be the best citizens for our nation. So this certificate is for you and your appreciation for those like myself that serve in the United States Air Force Reserves and a part of this community. Thank you.
From the Office of the Secretary of Defense, the employer support of the Guard and Reserve recognizes Dr. Jeanette Ball from SWISD as a patriotic employer for contributing to national security and protecting liberty and freedom by supporting employer participation in America's National Guard and Reserve Force.
Thank you. Thank
I told you I told you later. Now, just to make sure, I'm sure she's going to carry this around with her forever. But yeah, sure. So that everybody can see it. We all serve, so everybody here is taking care of it, helping when he's gone and filling it. Thank you.
Is it all the recognitions we have? On behalf of the board, before you leave, I do want to say thank you. We are very supportive of our veterans. There's a couple of us up here. There's a couple of spouses up here of veterans. So this district is strongly going to support veterans forever. We always have and we always will. And I know there's probably a few veterans out in the audience. And at this time, I will say thank you to veterans for serving and for spouses, because sometimes our spouses are even more important because we leave them behind many times. Okay, with that said, recognitions are done. Has anyone signed for public comments? Okay, if anybody would like to be excused at this time, the best part has already happened, okay? Business is about to take place, so if you'd like to be excused, please do so at this time. Okay, consent agenda, board members. You've all had that before you. That's item 5, A through O. Question? There's been a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Items of information. Construction update.
Yes, we have several projects that we'll give you updates on, and Thomas will introduce some individuals and lead this, and we're excited to share this information.
Yes, ma'am. And board, thank you. We have several jobs that are ongoing right now. I believe that we have some of the architects that may be stuck in traffic behind an accident, is what we've been told. But one of them just got here. So I'm going to turn it over to Rafael Bedoya and Casey Pearson to give the report on the press box update.
Good evening, everybody. Ready?
See you.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mr. President, Mr. Superintendent, members of the board, and district staff. We're coming to give a brief update on the stadium press box replacement project. As you know, we've been reporting the past probably 2 updates, is that if everything fell according to plan, we were going to be ready for the first home game. But since then, in the last probably 3 weeks, we've seen some things that have made us pause in caution of how we want to finish the project. And we had a good conversation with CGC. Casey Pearson here representing is the superintendent on site. And we had a good conversation about what we were going to have ready for the first game. And we knew that we were having issues with a few materials that were going to be close on coming in, and some other things that we were kind of looking at to be ready. But the conversation was, were we going to be 100% finished, or were we just going to be ready to have a football field and hold folks inside the building? So we had a tough conversation also with the district staff of, did we want to turn the building over at that time and not be 100% finished, or kind of take some time, a few weeks, just enough to get everything ready, get all the materials that we need in, get the signage up, and be 100% finished. And the decision with staff was to make that recommendation, and that's what the update that we're giving you today. So the date that we're looking to turn over the press boxes for the homecoming game on October 4th. We're looking to have the building ready for occupancy and for our walks and permitting or C of O for probably the latter part of September, that we can have everything in place and ready, and then for homecoming be ready for a football game. I can give you an update on where we are. You kind of have seen the building across the street. They're getting ready to. We have received Elevator components, that was one of the things that thought that what might be delayed, but it's already on site. They're going to start on Monday. Next week, they should be completing all the exterior windows, and then metal panels are going to come after that. Another conversation we've had is that because of the tight site, we have a lot of contractors that are out there doing work on top of each other. And you can't really have interior stuff and exterior stuff going on, so we have to sacrifice which ones do we prioritize to do it first. So we're going to focus on the building first, and then kind of do the site to kind of work our way out. But that kind of leads us to be sure that we're ready for the October 4th date. So if Casey wants to add anything, I think I kind of cover things. I know we're working with CPS to get the permanent power out there. We do have temporary power now, just in case CPS doesn't come through. So we have that covered, but we should be ready for the October 4th.
And just in case everybody doesn't know, October 4th, the reason he keeps mentioning that day, that is the ribbon cutting. So we're very excited. There will be a formal invitation to come, but just so everybody can tentatively put that on their date. October 4th is going to be a glorious day at Southwest ISD. Lots of events. We're going to talk about another one in just a minute.
Thank you.
And I do believe Marvin Mock got here, right?
Yeah, I think he went to let the other guy in. So we're coming up. So the new central office building, and I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but we did actually get the permit a week ago Friday. So the subgrade for the foundation has started. The building 400 is still there. We were waiting on CPS to remove the meter and the power from the building, because that last phase of the abatement of building 400, we're actually, all of the stuff that we're taking out is on the exterior structural walls. So when we abate it, it's also coming down, so that we have the demo contractor getting ready for that. He put in his 14-day notice the Friday when we got the permit, so we can do that. So outside of that, like I said, if you're able to see through the gate right there by Southwest Elementary, there's a pretty big hole in the ground and a big pile of dirt. That's where they're at, and I think they're getting ready to start the actual foundation piece of this building there. Bob Hope Elementary, continuing with the foundation on the new addition. The portables are there. They're working on getting them connected. The plan is to move kids into those portables as soon as we can get the C of Os for them, which should be sometime late September. We've been working with Miss Garza there at Bob Hope to plan out the phasing of that project, but KenCon is on site working on the new addition, and we'll be going on to the renovation pieces as soon as we get kids moved into those portables. The next item is going to be a presentation by Garza Baumberger and Jorge Flores on Southwest Elementary schematic design. And so that will be an action item later, but we're going to go ahead and let him do his presentation at this time. So I'm going to call Jorge Flores up.
Good evening, Dr. Ball, Mr. President Sylvester, board members. Thank you for having me, and let me present the Southwest Elementary School renovation. This is just the schematic design. We have two tasks. The exterior, we have to clean the building. We're going to renovate the canopy, even though this canopy is in good shape. So just to bring an accent to the main entrance and the parents know exactly where to go, we're going to create demolish just portions of the canopy to create a new accent to the entrance. The parking lot is going to have a resurface if the budget has enough funds to do that. So we're going to treat that as an alternate. In the interior, we're going to replace the air conditioning. The entire rooftop units are going to be new. We're going to have a new PA system a new fire alarm system. We're gonna do upgrades on the alarms, on the technology. The flooring, the ceiling, and the millwork are gonna be replaced in the entire school. We're gonna remove the wall covering that is currently in place, and we're gonna repaint the walls. We're gonna do an update interior signage and upgrading the light fixtures with the new LED systems. We're gonna renovate the restrooms, plumbing, fixtures, partitions, and finishes. We're gonna apply frosting film in the interior windows that are from the classroom to the corridors. We're gonna do upgrades in the water fountains to have the water fillers in there. In the gym, currently you have a concrete floor. We're gonna place a new sports flooring and create a little alcove so the kids don't have to go out of the building to go into the gym. It's gonna be all interior. In the library, we're gonna do upgrades and we're gonna create a storytelling area. And in the cafeteria, it's gonna be totally renovated. We're gonna do, in the lobby, it's gonna be a secure lobby that, this is the canopy. So you can see here, this is the portion that we are demolishing and building. We're creating a new plaza in the back where it used to be a landscape area that is no longer there, is all dead. So we're creating a more space for the students to wait for pick up or drop off in the mornings. And this is more or less the concept. We're wrapping the columns, making a little wainscot of limestone, similar to the arch that is in the entrance of the whole campus. So we have two options here. It's just the color is exactly the same, but it's blue with the white letters or white with the blue letters. In the vestibule, we're enlarging the vestibule. Currently, we have a door right here. We're moving that to the end of the corridor to create more space for the parents to wait for students that are being picked up before the school ends. And we are adding a bulletproof transaction window. That is a true bulletproof, because you're going to have a personnel sitting right there. The rest is going to be bullet resistant. As you can see in the interior, we are also rearranging the countertops and creating some areas for waiting as well. This is a couple of renderings. This is for the vestibule and that's for the receptions. That's just for you to envision what we're trying to do. We talked to the staff. The color of the school right now is blue, and they don't want blue anymore, but they don't want to change that. They want something that is more colorful. So we came with the idea of having different colors for the corridors as also learning tool for the students, where they can be directed, go to the blue corridor or the yellow corridor. And that's what we are presenting here. We have a color palette down there. We haven't selected anything just yet. This is just for the ideas. That is existing right here. And that is what we are trying to do. A little bit more pleasant color related items. So if it is blue, it's going to be like this, the corridor in orange, and we're going to clean up the existing corridors. In the library, this is existing, and we're going to try to create a storytelling area for the kids. Some clouds has acoustical treatment, and renovate with the seating for the kids to read, and new bookcases. Some drop off, ceiling drop off. In the classrooms, the left is existing. The right is our concept, where we are trying to get one color similar to the exterior, the corridor, and we are renovating the cubbies and the millwork, new cubbies, creating more space for the students. In the cafeteria on the left, you can see what is existing, and we're gonna make more simple this, and but still gonna have some changes in the ceilings. All these bands, acoustical treatment. We know cafeterias are too noisy, so we are creating a more quiet environment there. This is the sport flooring that it's a kind of a rubber of flooring, but it's just in one big welded sheet with the whatever design the school wants. The basketball, they can have all other items there for any kind of games or sports that they practice. So, and this is the vestibule that I was talking about. This is not existing right now, so they go out. I mean, we are enclosing this, creating an outcome, so everything is gonna be now an interior connection with the cafeteria. And that's basically it.
Questions, anyone? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And last item for the construction report, we're going to have Marvin Mock present the construction documents for Alvarado Elementary. So Matthew Cox is here and Hal Garcia with Marvin Mock. And so they're going to do that presentation if you have any questions for him. So this is the same, this is construction documents. We'll have an action item later tonight for this presentation.
Thank you. Dr. Ball, esteemed boards of trustees, good evening, and we're happy to be here again in front of you to present to you where we are with the project. We're at 100% CD here in about a couple of weeks. And we're reporting that we're on schedule, and we're seeking approval for construction documents to be able to move on to getting a GMP, also get permitting and eventually construction. We have met with the subcommittee before coming to you. We didn't receive any comments from that meeting. We have also met with Joris, the CMR on the project to discuss the updated cost information based on their pre-construction services input and district preferences and standards. So the images that we're going to be presenting here today reflect the latest design that will be included in the documents that we'll be issuing in a couple of weeks. And we anticipate obtaining a GMP in the beginning of October.
Good evening, everyone. Let's see. Page down. So for presenting today, I want to go through the site plan, the floor plans, then go through our exterior renderings and take a moment to look at the interior. And as a quick refresher to everyone, we haven't had significant changes on the site, but as a reminder, to the north is Legacy High School, to the east is Resnick Middle School. We have our car pickup and drop off on the east side, the bus loop on the west, your main entry on that south east corner. And then one change to note on the northwest corner, we have opened up where the fencing used to go around the outline of that asphalt surface. We've opened it up to add some play area to that northwest corner. It's not letting me click on it. This is our first floor plan. Here's the vestibule, and I'll work my way clockwise around the floor plan. Just straight south of there is our admin suite. Then directly south of there is the special needs rooms. Then we have our kitchen, cafeteria, music and art, and then we have the gym. And back over at the vestibule, we have the library space. It's a double height to the second floor. Then we have the STEM science rooms and pre-K through first grade classrooms. And then as we move up the second floor, we have 3 stairways, one there, one in the middle, and then the far end on the plan west. On this floor, we have the 2nd through 5th grade classrooms, as well as a workroom. And in that workroom and the space below, you can see into the library. This view here is at the main entry in the library on that southeast corner. Not too much has changed since you saw this at 50%. We have simplified the landscaping in that area to be more concrete and reduce the detailing on the seating walls to a limestone butter block, which can be a little more apparent here in a second when we look at an aerial view. This is kind of what it would look like if you walked directly across from Resnick Middle School. This is looking at that corner of the library, kind of seeing down the classroom wing here, and on the left side of the page towards the admin. This is an aerial view directly above that last view you were just looking at. You can kind of see on that south part of the building where we have increased the concrete in an area, extended some of the sitting walls, and how we scored along that walkway. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, yeah. Yes, ma'am. And this is on the west side from the play area, looking back at the classroom wing. And on the right side of the image is the art and music, and the taller space is the gymnasium. No significant changes here. And then we move into the interior spaces.
On the interior spaces, I think we've much improved what you saw the last time for the entry to the building. We've incorporated that tile on the left that it resembles a limestone. And on the right, on the left, we've incorporated the blue tile, and also bringing in, maybe a possible future mascot that could be kind of centerpiece there when you enter the school. That's yet to be determined, but we're kind of holding that spot for that purpose. We can also see that, we've kind of color coded the library like we do with the colors that we have inside the actual library, so that you can kind of get that connection from when you walk in, that the library is right there. We've also further refined the neighborhoods with the colors, banding on the floor, and also kind of repeating that same banding with a lighting across the top, kind of reflect that the design that's going on with that corridor, and also incorporated, where the benches are, kind of a wood laminate on the bottom to kind of dress up the space. In the classrooms, again, we just further refined the design here. I think the last thing, the only difference here in the classrooms that you see is that white board that you see on the left of the image. Those are actually millwork that gets covered with a surface that you can write on, and also it's magnetic, so you can kind of put things on it. The library, I think the refinement here is where we've actually looked at the actual design of those tubes that are coming down with the solo tubes, which are like skylights that are on the roof, and those white kind of pipes that you see are fabric that kind of are attached to those solo tubes to provide, kind of natural light coming into the building. The other thing that we refined here is at the very far left corner, we enclosed the maker space that is in that corner. And this is a view of the actual makerspace looking out into the library. You can see how now we've added a door, but the door also has glass, so it's still pretty transparent, but it controls the sound going into into the library. And I think the only change that we made there is that we changed the carpet to LVT there for durability. The cafeteria and stage, we opened up the stage a little bit more for clearer sight lines. So that's the only difference that we have. Again, we're just refining the design. In terms of the rest of the room, it's pretty much the same as you saw last time. The other thing that you see there with a yellow stripe that kind of runs around there, those are acoustical panels that are in there. And before it was just kind of a bump out of the wall, but now we just kind of pushed that back and made that acoustical panels. And then the gymnasium here too, the difference from what you saw last time is that we took out the wainscot paint, gray paint that we had around the perimeter of the room to allow to be able to have the loo on the wall to be able to project there on that wall. Then on the exterior courtyard, we've actually also again refined the design there. We had kind of a placeholder there for where the seating area was. We weren't really sure what that was going to be. You know, we were kind of showing brick on CMU block with, you know, cast stone on the top, but we kind of going back and introduced limestone blocks there too to at the perimeter to create kind of a seating area for the students in the outdoor area.
I have a question. Is
Yes.
that limestone durable,
Yes.
easy to clean?
You can pressure wash it.
I just have one question. I don't know if this is more of a policy on our end for the neighborhood areas, but for some odd reason, it would be the you know, getting these kids if the students decide to hold a class or something, or an event in the hallway, just getting them to safety into a classroom right away, because I know all the doors are supposed to be locked between. I don't know if this is more of a policy question on our end.
We develop a procedure.
About getting them if something
Mhm,
happens
for
in
that.
the hallway, but
Absolutely.
But the students won't be there all the time, right? It's
No,
only
it-
used
No.
for.
Like a special
Okay.
project,
That's
maybe, or
what I'm saying. But even then, you know, just know
Yeah.
something.
yes. We'll definitely develop something, work with safety and security.
Okay.
But great point.
Thank
Again,
you.
oh, sorry, just want to remind everybody, October 4th will be the ground breaking for this event. So we're very much looking forward to it. Of course, invitations are to follow, but everybody can reserve that date. So we're looking forward to that. Again, want to recognize the namesake of our
Yes.
school here, Mr. Juan Alvarado. Yes.
Welcome. Okay, we can go. Yeah, we can. Okay,
That's all I have for construction.
that's all you have.
Yeah.
Okay. Monthly tax report, board members, you've had that.
We're at 97%, we were in July, so this month, we want to be around 98.5.
Before we turn it over to
Yes.
Lineberger. Okay. Monthly financial report, investment report. Board members stop me at any time with questions. Report on gifts and bequests. Enrollment report.
Every
You have the
day.
latest.
Yes, every day, which is only our second day, our numbers keep going up. So we're very excited about this. We are working really closely to make sure that all our teachers post attendance. So today, senior staff divided ourselves and went to several campuses to help remind and encourage. So right now, our enrollment is 14,350, which that is up from last year. On the second day, we were at 13,486. So we hope to continue to go up. So we're very excited about this. So we will continue to share this information on a weekly basis through our Friday notes, if that's okay with the board.
And is this the number of teachers that haven't done their attendance?
Correct.
So we're looking at probably another 1,000 kids.
Some of them.
Yeah, I don't think,
When we were going through, some of them might have been on conference, so we don't have it separated out. So like at the high school, that number is large because they might have 13 or 14 teachers on conference.
17.
Okay.
We're fairly certain that that's the number that we have for you today. And that includes everybody that is away at pre-K for SA, that's still in our enrollment. Everything is all added up for us right there.
On the no-show count, what's that split?
So the split that you're gonna see on the top, you'll have two numbers. You're gonna have kinder through 12th grade, but the only thing that's reported to the state is the no-shows for the secondaries. So that second number is
That's
the
the
state
690.
number.
and we have a team that will start to look for those no-shows.
Look for students. Anything else? Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna keep this enrollment. Purchases over 50,000. Budget and tax rate update.
Yep, we have Scott that's going to give us some information. Do you have a packet, board members, on your desk that looks like this? Scott has a presentation for us.
Good evening, President Vasquez, members of the board, Dr. Ball. Tonight we have a very full agenda. There it is right there. We're going to go over the current budget that we have year to date, and then also our proposed budget that we will be bringing back to you all next Tuesday night for a final approval. We'll also be talking about the tax rate that we are also proposing that you all recommend beginning next Tuesday as well. All right. So on this slide, we have the current budget year to date that will end in August 31st. And as you can see, we're doing pretty well on our interest in seeking. We've paid our bond payments. We've collected our tax dollars, so we're in good shape there. Our other budgets are trending properly as well in the month of August. So we should have some more revenue coming in for our general fund and a few more expenses going out as well. So we're right where we want to be in that area. So, all right, so moving right along. As we write the budget, you all have seen these numbers before. These are our budget assumptions. These are the numbers that we use to calculate our revenue projections. And so tonight we have been able to add our recommended tax rate in there as well. So we have the $1.15. It's almost very similar to what we had this current year. So we're recommending not much of a change in that area, and we'll talk more about that later in the slide, later in the presentation. So, all right. This slide, it's a little hard to read, but it's our revenue slide. And as you can see, there's lots of categories for revenue. We have our local revenue, our state revenue, and our federal revenue. Wish we had more revenue. We get what we get, so we try to do our best. So as you can see, we are projecting almost $163 million in revenue for our general fund this upcoming year. And we will use that number to calculate our expenses off of. So this next slide, this is our actual budget. As you can see, the revenue is $162,670,000 and some change. We've got our salaries added in there correctly with the updated salary costs. We have all of our people hired and the ones who we were taking out. We think that's a pretty accurate number. We have our stipends in there as well. That comes to about 143 million and some change. And then we have our non-payroll expenses, which gives us a total expense of 175,587,000. So, which leaves us with about not quite $13 million budget deficit heading into the 25 school year. So it's about where we thought we'd be when we started this process back in May. So any questions so far? All right. Projected fund balance. So as you can see, we are spending money. We had a lot of projects that took place last year and this year as well. So we are anticipating more or less to be somewhere in the $64 million fund balance range at the end of our year. Excuse me. We'll have our audit upcoming next couple of months, and they'll be able to provide us a more accurate number as we get closer to December and January. But for now, that we projected $64 million at the end of the 2024. And then with the $13 million deficit, we are looking at a $51 million fund balance, which is still within our 3 to 4 month allowable fund balance window. So any questions on that? All right. Moving right along to the child nutrition budget. We also have our new chef in the audience tonight, so that's pretty neat. So as we talk about the child nutrition budget. Anyway, so we have the child nutrition budget. You can see we are setting it up to spend a little more out of the fund balance for the child nutrition to go ahead and complete some of the capital projects that weren't quite finished this year, and also includes the summer feeding budget. So, but they're always in pretty good shape in the child nutrition department. They do a good job there. So, all right. The debt service budget. As you can see, we have a opportunity to do a little bit of a defeasance, and so we'll talk more about that next Tuesday night. Umberto from our bond council will be here to talk about that as well. And so that's pretty cut and dry. We're going to take in about 33 million, and we're going to pay out about 33 million. All right. All right, moving right along to the tax talk. As you can see that we have a good history of a nice tax rate. It continues to go downward. This year we're looking at $1.15, almost $1.16, with a little bit lower M&O tax rate versus last year, and our interest in seeking tax rate will remain the same, so that we can continue to build schools and have nice buildings. Any questions on the tax rate? All right. And this is the advertisement we put in the newspaper on August 15th. And it's also on our website. All right. So what are the next steps? So we'll have, later on, we'll ask the board to call a special meeting so we can set the tax rate and adopt the budget. We'd like for that meeting, if possible, to be August 27th. All right. This is our budget timeline, and you can see we started the process in May and June. Went through the comp plan, and now we're about ready to set the budget. It's very exciting times. All right. Any questions, board members? All right.
August 27th, you said?
August 27th.
And the time?
At 6
6
o'clock?
p.m.
We'll have a public hearing at 5:30. Then they'll record a public hearing at 6.
Questions? Anyone?
Very good.
Thank you.
All right.
2024-2025 student and staff attendance initiatives update.
Yes. So as the team starts to come up and prepare, want to share that attendance is a major goal for the district. As you saw earlier, revenue is something that we need to work on. So that is one way that we could bring in revenue. So the team has been looking at how do we address attendance. And last year we did make some gains, and we were able to make some gains because of what the board agreed on in regards to incentivizing students. In an effort to also help instruction, we want to incentivize adults. We have looked at some data, and a lot of our staff members are out. So we want to not only incentivize students, but also the adults. So we have our team today that will share some information. And then you also have some new literature that was printed, I think, last week, some brochures and some pamphlets. So I'll let the Ms. Garza and Mr. Ramirez present.
Thank you, Dr. Ball. Good evening, Board President, Mr. Vasquez, board members, Dr. Ball, and senior staff. Thank you for having me. For the record, my name is Laura Garza, and Mr. Ramirez is my boss, and he helps me with everything that I do, and he guides me, so thank you as well. I want to go over some attendance initiatives, but before I do that, I want to, if you allow me the opportunity, I want to go over a little bit what Dr. Ball mentioned earlier as far as enrollment. And if you look at your PowerPoint or on the screen, these are the last 5 years of district data that we have for enrollment and attendance percentages. And I know I've showed you this before, but I just kind of wanted you to see the trend on where we were in 2019, 2020. We've already surpassed the enrollment numbers, and we were close to 94%. And then everybody knows we had that amazing attendance percentage back when we got hit by COVID. And then got hit by reality and it dropped to 88.67. So it's been a struggle since then. We have had some modest increase of 1.1 compared last year to the year prior when we were at 90.70 to 91.8. So with that being said is what are we going to continue to do and what are we doing different? So that brings me to this next screen. So our attendance goal will remain. We want to have every campus to increase a 2% percentage as far as attendance. We want to keep the same incentive that we did last year. Some of you all were present when we went and we incentivized 2 campuses who were legacy, at least one that we hand delivered checks to them. And we want to continue that. We think that made an impact. They increased from 85.2 to 88.2. Okay, another campus that made an increase of 2% or more is Sun Valley, and they were at 92.2 to 94. So again, you have on that chart the percentages year after year. So we want to keep that and move forward again with the 2%. We want to add something additional in addition to that. We want to raise the bar, and if any of these campuses meet the 2% but go above and beyond, and they also meet the comparison group attendance rate minimum for quartile 1, they would get an additional $200 upon their return for the following school year. Okay, and quartile 1, it's a comparison group, so each and every campus is put in a comparison group along with 39 other schools in the state of Texas that are very similar too. So we want to go ahead and also add that. I'm sorry. This is something new that we want to move forward with, and the biggest factor in a child's life in school is a teacher. And chronic teacher absenteeism has also risen since COVID. We want teachers in the classroom. We want certified teachers teaching our kids. We want to build that relationship. But in order to do that, we also have to support them. So we are looking at to encourage teacher and motivate teachers to come to school on a regular basis. And we're looking at this for instructional classroom teachers only, where they would get $300 quarterly, but this would be for D and F score campuses only. At the moment, I don't know what those campuses are, but we can give you that information in the near future. Quarterly, they would get it again. September, quarter 1 would be September, October, November. They would get handwritten checks for teachers that have perfect attendance. There are exceptions, those teachers that go to jury duty or teachers that have district assigned professional development would be the only exceptions when it comes to perfect attendance for teachers. And these are the initiatives. I have them color coded because it was very important for us that we hit all stakeholders. So if you look at the first couple bullets, this is more for our kids, our students. September attendance awareness, we're going to kick that off in September. We already have all the information that's going to be going out in the near future. We also have our senior class card giveaway for students meeting attendance requirements, and I'll go over that here in a little bit. We have the year-long campus level attendance challenges and rewards. We have the Price Patrol coming along this year again, which kids enjoyed last year, especially when we told their story. We went to campuses, we recognized kids, we celebrated kids that met the attendance challenges. The next couple bullets is in blue. This is, again, supporting our teachers, okay? We want them to know that we're here for them and we're supporting them. So we have, again, the $500 incentive. If they meet the quartile 1, an additional $200. And then we have the perfect attendance for teachers. And I have the wrong amount there. It's 300 instead of 200. That is for our staff. How are we also supporting our staff? We are keeping that line of communication. So every day a daily attendance percentage goes out to every campus to see where every campus is at, and that's done on a daily basis. Attendance gap dashboard, that's also a tool that was created to support teachers, so to see what are the trends, what are the kids that are being absent, and how are we finding them and what's going on. Another one is the frontline documentation, again, communication, making sure that everybody gets the information when we do find the root cause. But if I know because I did a home visit, I document so that everybody at campus that has access to Frontline and that students information are able to be in the loop of what's going on. Then I think another most important stakeholder is our families, our parents. And how are we going to inform parents? So we are hosting, or we are doing attendance guide for parents. You guys have those. I shared those. Those are those trifolds that you have on your table. That's going out to parents and students to, again, communicate and inform on the importance of attendance. We have attendance information sessions for parents. We did that last year. We had the symposium. We're going to add hopefully we're going to include that one, 2 more. And I'm hoping we can do our first parent information session on attendance in September. Then we have parent questionnaire for parents that went out on social media not too long ago, where I got feedback as far as what motivates kids, what are the biggest factors that prevent them from coming to school, and challenges. So we got feedback on that, and that's something that I'm looking at when I'm planning on what incentives and what challenges we're going to put forth.
We can guess at what some of the challenges are. We can kind of come up with reasons why we think students don't come to school every day, but unless we actually hear from the parent, can we really say that we have an understanding? So this year we made it a point to make sure that we ask parents, hey, what specifically are some of these challenges that keep students from coming to school?
And another thing we're adding is automated phone calls. So this year, again, beginning soon as we can get all our enrollment and everything settled, we are going to be making 2 phone calls a day. Okay, our ADA periods our time is 10 for elementary, 10:40 for middle schools, and 11 o'clock for high schools. Right when the kids arrive during first period or early in the morning, teachers are going to check attendance, and we'll know right off the bat who's not there. Okay, we're going to give teachers a little bit of time, and then the call is going to go out to inform parents, your child was not here today. Okay, there's going to be a second call at the end of the day to confirm the absences for the day for the student. Okay, so that's something that we're adding that wasn't being done. And I think, again, based on the questionnaire that I had, I think like 30% of the answers that I got were parents wanted more communication, consistent communication. So keeping them in the loop.
And
yes.
that communication also involves communicating, making sure that there's an understanding about what constitutes an unexcused absence, what constitutes a state excused absence. And so there's been a push to also make sure that everyone who works attendance at the district level, at the campus level, has answers to some of the questions that we've had in the past about, hey, what truly is an unexcused absence? What is considered a state excused absence? So we've had an opportunity to visit with campus principals, assistant principals, and even teachers as well, and attendance staff to maybe answer some of those questions, to clarify some of those things that we know can help us. Any little bit helps, and so that's what we're attempting to do.
And my last slide is, last time we met, we were able to receive some great feedback from you all when it came to the car giveaway. So thank you for that. And this is what has been put together. Mr. Ramirez has a poster that is also been posted on social media, and we're gonna make sure that that goes out and informs the community of what we're doing at Southwest. But this is what the car giveaway contest is gonna look like. Eligibility it will remain with seniors and seniors only. Okay, we have 2 winners, one from Southwest and one from Legacy. We're gonna have Cass go to Southwest High School, and we're gonna alternate every year after that. Okay, you have the important dates below. Okay, but the most important is, how are they gonna earn digital tickets to get an opportunity to possibly win a car? And we wanted to make sure that every single kid in our district had that opportunity. So one way is, as I mentioned earlier, district attendance sessions. I will host 3. If a parent and a student attend a session, they will earn a digital ticket. Okay. The other way they can earn digital tickets is if student gets 93%, 95%, or 97% within 6 weeks. Okay, so they can earn the first 6 weeks, they can come to school regularly and hit that 97%. If they do that, they get the digital ticket for the 97, they get a digital ticket for the 95, and they get an additional ticket for the 93. Okay, but if they don't do it the 6 weeks, the next 6 weeks, they already have 3 anyway. Okay, so we do that every 6 weeks. So they could potentially get up to 15 digital tickets.
The last way, and one of the ones that hurts us the most, is the low attendance days. And we talked about that earlier. We have kids that leave during the Christmas break, they go to another country or they go elsewhere and they take that extra, and before you know it, they're out a month. Okay, so we looked at the lowest attendance days, which you have your Thanksgiving, you have your winter break, you have your spring break, your Easter, and this should be a holiday, Super Bowl Monday. Okay, so if they come before the holiday and after the holiday for all 9 days, to include that before that Monday, that's a total of 9. If they show up for all those days before and after, then they get an extra digital ticket. Okay, so then we follow the same protocol as far as how when they go and they choose the key and everything, but this is going to be the new parameters for the card giveaway. What we wanted to do really is we have printed posters, so every school, most of the schools already have the posters. We asked every middle school and every high school, every administrator, if they could follow these same parameters and do the incentives. Obviously, the elementary and the middle school wouldn't earn a car, but that way you build that habit. By the time they get to the high school, they already know the expectation. And again, to support the car giveaway expectations.
And the idea too behind this setup was to really reward those students who have those high percentages each grading period, but to also not forget about those students who maybe didn't make it for some reason one grading period, but they still have a chance by attending either an information session or by having really good attendance the next grading period to still be a part of to still be eligible. So.
Also, I got some information before I came over here. Thank you, Dodi. Our attendance percentage for today was 97.4. Okay, and we want that tomorrow and every day after that. So that was really, really good news. So I just wanted to share that. Okay. Do y'all have any questions for us? Yes, sir.
I don't know if it's something you had brought up or Scott had brought up before, but every 1% we go up is around $1 million. So the more we go, oh yeah, increase. Yeah. As far as to the effects of the bonuses to the budget, we won't know until we find out who qualifies.
That is
for it,
correct.
right? Do we know how much? I mean, we can find out later, but the legacies and some valleys in the process towards the budget.
Yeah, well, they're still finalizing it, so we just put together a summer teams that, so they're going to start, our summer finance will start desegregate that data and we'll be able to look at it. Right now, we don't, obviously with legacies, it's going to help us a lot, because we promote and they have a lot more kids. So that legacies is probably more impactful with some value, because we can pure side of the
I mean, these are things we want to do and we need to do. It's just, we also need to make sure people understand that, we're willing to do this and we pay this much money to help these teachers out, but we also need to make sure we get the kids in so much of that.
Just curious, do you think that, and I'm just speaking from a parent and from 4 kids that attended school, I just feel like all this here is gonna happen like by chance. Like, they're not gonna be looking at the thing and say, oh, if I don't come to school Friday, I'm not gonna be in the 95 percentile for the 6-week period to earn a ticket.
Is there something
I
that
mean,
you can check?
it just seems kind of like, it's just, little Johnny's gonna be there all 1/6, he's gonna get some tickets, but then the next time he's just gonna be like, I don't know that that's a lot for them to look at and say, well, I could miss 2 days and still get 1 ticket. I'm not sure about how that's gonna roll out, for one thing. Usually our high performer kids have good attendance anyway, so I don't know if that's gonna be enough incentive for kids that don't care to come to school to come to school. You know what I'm saying? Like a kid that loves to come to school, he's gonna get all these tickets because he just loves to come to school. But how are we incentivizing the kids that don't want to come? He don't care. I mean, he's probably like, I'm never gonna win that car anyways, I'm not coming to school. So what kind of attendance incentive or what kind of lack of a better word, penalty. Are we gonna have the, like, it used to be, if you didn't send your kid to school, the parent got in trouble, parent had to go before the judge, and then the parent made little Johnny come to school, because they didn't wanna be going to court all the time and paying off the fine. And then we went away from that, the punitive. We don't, like, there's no punitive thing, except they don't come to school, we lose money, they don't get an education, they don't end up graduating, we know the whole cycle. But I think we need to, I mean, I'll do whatever y'all are suggesting, because I know y'all put a lot of work into it. But we've got to figure out how to get the kid that doesn't want to come to school, because the kids that are going to get all these tickets, they're the kids that like to come to school. We see it every year at the giveaway. It's athletes, it's fine arts kids, it's kids that are in clubs, the e-sport. I mean, it's all those kids. And so I applaud all this, but I don't know that it's going to target the kids that we need to target to get to come to school. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if this will answer your question, but on the attendance initiatives, I'm sorry, every single one of these bullets, I think our main goal, or at least what I think and what I've studied and read and been educated on, is relationships.
Right.
And I think that all of these here bullets allow us to build relationships with parents, with staff, with kids. And then at the same token, it takes a village. So we have the T-Pals, we have the teams, finding the root of why that Johnny doesn't come to him, because that kid is the one that's not motivated. What can we do? And then consistency when it comes to price patrol. Kids get so excited. And I know that maybe we're not going to be able to do this for years, but how can we hook them? How can we make them buy? Okay, and kids look forward to that. Kids look forward to being recognized. So I think a lot of those factors come in on how are we going to get kids to get that 93, 95, just to get a taste of success. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but I think when it comes to that is one at a time, but how everybody has to work. Teachers have to make that phone call. That pamphlet that you guys got, the attendance guide, that is for every single staff member in the district, are what are prevention measures put in place before we say bye to Johnny because he's not wanting to come. We need to find what can we do to support, knowing our resources. What do we have? I didn't know that Southwest had so much for kids. So much. There is no reason why our kids should fail if everybody does their part. We'll still lose some.
That's kind of my point. Though.
Yes, ma'am.
My point is that this is a way to get the kids to come to school that are already going to come to school. The way to get the kids that don't come to school is by what you said. It's by making school more inviting, and it's not for 1,000 seniors to think, well, I'm gonna get that car. You know, it's that the car is not an incentive enough to come to school because they know only one's gonna win it. So we have to figure out how to engage our teachers, how to engage, and the parents that are gonna come to this class about the attendance are not the parents of the kids that don't come to school. It's gonna be the kids that come to school that are gonna make their parents go to the meeting because they want to know the chicken. So how are we gonna get the message to our parents that they have to come to school? If you don't come to school, then this is gonna happen.
And we're still applying a lot of the truancy prevention measures that we've had in place, you know, the warning letters, the abatement hearings, which we call them conferences now. But we're still applying those, but we're also monitoring those students who are having a hard time coming to school through case management, attendance staff on campuses. They're monitoring those students, but they're also trying to find out and identify what's keeping the student from coming to school and also what's going to help, you know, bring them to school. So I think some of these other incentives, we also give the schools some flexibility to come up with, you know, their incentives, you know, build excitement around some of those. But a lot of times it takes that more personal case management approach because sometimes those cases are a little bit more difficult.
And I think if we work closely with our police department, they seem to have the mentality of keeping your kids in school, right? They're out there, they're meeting our kids. I mean, I saw them yesterday and today, they're just mean, Chief has them out. And so we've got to somehow grab what the police department has, because their kids aren't afraid of them. It's not like, oh God, police, but they like them. So we've got to, I mean, I love this. I think y'all do a great job. It's very hard work to put all that together, but we got to get the message to our teachers and to our parents that they got to come to school. You know, if they want a better life, they got to come to school.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Were students just given these forms so they could themselves see them, or do they have some type of an assembly or something?
The
for the
forms,
information?
these posters are posted everywhere. When they have the senior assembly, they're gonna go over that. It's been posted on social media, and we're just gonna announce and make sure that they're informed. A lot of kids didn't know about the card giveaway, at least last year when I went to ask questions and find out. So the big thing is telling our story. Make sure that everybody knows and that they share that, and just an opportunity to, I mean, I think is keep our kids that are coming to school coming, and then add to that. But we have to really just share it and share it and share it some more.
Every opportunity.
Every
How do
opportunity.
they know how many tickets they've earned or where they're at or where they're sitting?
So our wonderful Peens department is the one that's going to be keep track of the digital tickets.
So they'd have to go to the front office?
No, we're looking at possibly right now. We've been talking about it and how we're going to make sure that the parents and the student gets that information. I don't have a definite answer, but it is going to be through the Peens department.
Yeah, we're hoping, one of the things we were looking at was an email possibly that informs them, hey, your child has earned today, this many tickets, things like that. So, and ways to continue earning them.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, just one more thing. You might want to consider, they get the car, but there's only one prize at home. Maybe we could consider doing like scale down the prizes. You can't give everybody a car, but maybe some kind of
Tickets to,
gaming station, whatever, something that would entice the senior, or maybe a gift certificate to the bookstore, the college book, something, not really that, but something that would entice the senior.
laptop.
So that there's not, like when that kid wins the car, everybody goes home.
Yeah, an iPad,
Maybe something
Spurs
that,
tickets.
if we can see that it's gonna be payable with the increase in attendance, then I think it'd be a win.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, School Health Advisory Council Annual Report and consider approval of fentanyl awareness and human trafficking curriculum.
yeah, so this is written a little bit different. So this is just going to be an item of information, and then at the next board meeting, it'll be put under consider approval. So this is an item of information. And we're really blessed because today we actually have the co-chairs that are going to give this information. So this committee is led by Linda Guerrero, and then she has also Sandra Hernandez, and then our two co-chairs, and I'm hoping that I'm saying this right, Monrovia Jenkins, and then Billy Harbor. So they are here also with us tonight to share all the hard work that this committee has done. So Ms. Guerrero.
Thank you. So good evening, Dr. Ball and board members. We did want to come in today and show you that we're growing and we're making progress. And so we wanted to have our our SHAC parent chairs go ahead and give you the annual report this year. And then we wanted to give you some information on some of the curriculums that we were considering and for your approval for next week. So this is our chair. This is Billy Harbor. And then again, she said Monrovia Jenkins, our co-chair.
Thank you. So for those of you who aren't aware, SHAC is essentially a volunteer advisory council that works with the Board of Trustees. So our main duties are to recommend policies, procedures, curriculums, and strategies for health education that is appropriate to the specific grade level. So that's going to be your physical education, as well as mental health, and then human sexuality or sex ed. So we did a lot of work this year, as Linda mentioned, to try to transition some of the responsibilities. So previously, the Southwest personnel, both Linda and Sandra, kind of headed it all up, organized the meetings that we were having, creating the agendas and things like that. And so we've worked to transition that so that the parental officers or committee is now responsible for that. So I think our last meeting was probably the first meeting that we took the bulk of the work off of that. So that was a goal for the 23 to 24 school year, and it was accomplished again by appointing a chair, a co-chair, and a secretary, which is Jennifer Williams. So we'll be taking over the responsibility of those meetings. And then, of course, still working closely with Linda and Sandra to ensure that we have the liaisons with the school district, getting the right parties involved when we need maybe presentations or we're requiring additional information in order to make the right recommendations and considerations for the board. So that was one thing that we did this year. Another, as Dr. Ball mentioned, is addressing the fentanyl awareness curriculum or program that needs to be implemented, as well as one for human trafficking. So we do have recommendations for both, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then increasing collaboration with community groups was also a goal for the 23 to 24 school year. So we did that with the San Antonio Metro Health, which we'll also talk about. And that's outlined in the report that you have in front of you. So we did hold 6 total meetings. So I think the year before we were at 4. This year we met 6 times. The San Antonio Metro Health District did present some data to us that was very interesting. It was on sexually transmitted diseases that are trending in Bexar County. I hate to use that word trending because it's usually a positive thing, but in this case it's not. And so the presentation really focused on the importance of early intervention with generating the best possible outcome. So one of the things that they did bring up to us was that they have the ability to bring a mobile unit to a community for both testing and treatment. That's something that we've tabled for now. They did express that they would only do that if the community was wanting something like that. But they do have that as an option that they could give us more information on. Really what I think SHAC wants to do with the Metro Health is to focus on education for right now. So we have invited them to come back this school year, 24-25, to give us a proposed presentation that they would like to deliver to parents. And so we'll need to see what the content of that is in order to determine what might be an appropriate avenue to present that information. Then, of course, ultimately, if we feel comfortable presenting it to the board as something that might be a good way, again, to collaborate with the community and get important educational information out to our students. But the information was, I think, very helpful. And they talked a lot about long-term impacts and really sharing that information with the demographic that tends to face that with those sexually transmitted diseases, and helping them to really understand what that all means in the long run, not just in the immediate. The Child Nutrition Department also came and talked to us a little bit about their efforts to engage middle school and high school and really get feedback using a QR code on the menu. And so we'll be inviting them back again this year to see what kind of progress is made and if there's anything that we think we can help with in terms of recommendations there as well. And then Linda and Sandra both provided us with information on fentanyl awareness and human trafficking. I'll talk about that in a lot more detail in just a minute. So I'll just kind of skip over that for now. We did have the executive director of safety as well come in to present to us. And this was something that SHAC had requested. We wanted a better understanding of the safety measures that were implemented with the bond funds that came in recently. And then also just kind of understanding what the support system was for the kids when it comes to the lockdowns, both the drills and when it happens in a live situation. So that was very informative, and I think helped give the parents a lot of peace of mind to feel like the measures we have in terms of physical safety are very well in place, and Southwest has taken that very seriously. Southwest Cares also delivered a presentation to us on what the services are that they provide, as well as just some general usage information. And I think that was really helpful for us as well, because it helps us to understand how in certain cases where we might make recommendations, CARES might be able to come alongside of that, especially if we feel that the community may not appreciate certain efforts or certain recommendations, where CARES might be able to fill in the gap, because we know that the community appreciates that program. Okay, so those are some of the activities and achievements from this year. In terms of recommendations, the first one I want to cover is fentanyl awareness. So this came out in the 80th Texas legislation session where they determined that fentanyl awareness needed to be, or the related legislation was passed to raise awareness, I should say, of fentanyl poisoning and to promote prevention efforts. So the drug is especially dangerous. It cannot be seen. It can't be tasted. It can't be smelled. There's really no way for a layperson to know that their drug is laced with fentanyl. And so it's very dangerous. And a lot of individuals think that what they're taking is an Oxycontin pill when in fact it's something that's laced with fentanyl, or other drugs, of course, could be laced with fentanyl as well. And so we looked at a few different things that were presented to us. One of the, or two things that we settled on in terms of implementing program additions were the slides that are already existing in the Catch curriculum. They're actually in the back of the annual report for you to look at if you haven't already done that. So we have a subscription to the Catch curriculum. These slides are already part of that, so it would be no additional cost to implement those into our current programs. And then there's another one, another program called Dead on Arrival. It's actually a documentary, and Sandra Hernandez found it, and it's a very powerful video. I believe it was in the board book. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I highly recommend you do as you're considering this recommendation. We believe that it is designed in a way that allows our students to digest the information. It was very impactful. Flo Burnell is one of the board members that sits and comes into the meetings, and she got to see it. But it's designed in a way that I think the kids will understand the information more than just seeing a slide, which is why we thought it was important to have something accompany those Catch slides, even though they're great and they give great information, really trying to hit it home. One of the stories in there was about a boy who during COVID was very depressed, and his friend, somebody he knew, said, "Hey, I can get you an oxy pill." Great, give him an oxy pill. And then it turns out it was a synthetic pill laced with fentanyl, and the boy passed away almost immediately. And so I think it's important. The video really hits home to our kids that you may think you know this source. You know, it's not a stranger on the side of the street selling our kids drugs. It's a friend of a friend, or maybe even someone that they know, and they need to understand it's not safe, and it's not safe to even experiment with. And so that video really helps to hit that home with our kids. We believe anyways that it does. Hopefully you get a chance to watch it and agree. So we are recommending that for fentanyl awareness, those two things are implemented. The recommendation is for grades 6th through 12th. The option to opt out is what we are recommending. Obviously, you'll have to make a decision on that, and that the parents would receive a flyer with the information about it, have a district contact that they can reach out to get information about it. And then something else, and it's funny because it came up with another presentation on, and they mentioned parents and communications. One of the things that SHAC has asked is that the communications department present to us kind of the process on how things are rolled out or disseminated to parents, because we would like to see something else come alongside a flyer. I've been getting a lot of text messages at the start of the school year, and I love those. Emails, I'm not going to see them. If you look at my phone, I have over 30,000 unread emails, which is probably, for those who have OCD, freaking them out. But I do. Text messages, I'm going to see that right away. So I love that. So something that might be able to accompany the flyer communication that really tells the parent, hey, this is something important. And even if they opt out, even if they say it's not for their child, it gives them the opportunity to get the information and maybe deliver it to the child themselves, so they can see what options are available, what they feel is appropriate, and then deliver it that way. So that's with the fentanyl awareness for now. And it is something that SHAC, I think, is going to continue to explore to see what other things we might be able to recommend for an awareness program. So I think some interesting things to mention is that we did find that Texas has an awareness week for fentanyl. It's actually in October. So we'd have time to put something together for that. There's a National Awareness Day, but it's actually tomorrow. So it's a little late for that, but to know that that's in August and going forward. But really to try to help, not just with these, but keep it in front of the kids and have some sort of program in place to really communicate it to the kids and to the parents consistently. And then the last is human trafficking. So with the human trafficking, we evaluated a Lures and Lies presentation from Ransom Life Human Trafficking. And it was very engaging. It's intended to be delivered live or in person. It's not a video. The presenter was working, I think Dr. Ball was at this particular meeting. The presenter was kind of crowd working. So she's asking questions. She's getting everybody involved. She also used, sorry, my paper's here now. She also used a lot of sort of visual object lessons, which I think are important for kids. So different types of slides, different videos. She's asking questions and really trying to help them connect with the things that they do for social activity every single day, which is they're in social media and they're gaming. And one of the statistics that she presented is a lot of people think with human trafficking, they're targeting young girls, but it's actually 50-50. They're targeting girls and they're targeting boys. And that's what it really focuses on. So it doesn't leave any demographic out. It's hitting home with everybody. So I think that's really important. We really enjoyed the presentation. This is one that we believe would fall under the human sexuality or the sex ed. So it would be, as we would recommend, an opt-in program, but we would recommend to roll it out to grades 6th and 12th. And then, of course, parents being provided with a flyer, and again, some sort of other communication that might really let them know, especially with the opt-in. You know how it is, kids just don't show their parents the flyers. I can't tell you how many times I found out about something the morning of, right? And so something that, again, lets the parents know that this is an important program that's being rolled out. And for this one, we would recommend it be done in assembly. I think that's, yeah, right. Assembly. I think that's what's in the annual report. And then for the other, it would be an advisory. So this is also one that has a whole awareness month, actually, and it's in January. So again, just thinking of ways that we might be able to keep that in front of our kids and our parents. And it is something that SHAC will continue to look into, and we'll probably ask for different members of the Southwest community to come in and talk to us about things that might already be existing, so we can see if there's anything else. So I was traveling with my son a lot this last summer, and every time I went into an airport restroom, there was a sign about human trafficking. So even simple things like that, making sure that we have those things in the district, and where it's not just one thing that they're seeing at the beginning of the school year and then forgetting about for the rest of the year. So those are the two things that we did probably the most activity on that we have to recommend to y'all. So any questions?
Well, thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you for your time.
State accountability update.
Yes, we have Lisa Bolte that is going to come and present this information. And as most of you already heard, they are not going to be releasing information as of now, but wanted Lisa to share some information.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, esteemed board members. So as you have probably heard, the lawyers that have the lawsuit against TEA for accountability for 2023, they brought a second suit against TEA. And on Monday, the day before we were supposed to have the release from TEA, the judge did put in a temporary restraining order. So as of now, we will not be issued 2024 ratings either. We have been cautioned by the lawyers that we should not take the data that TEA has released to us and make a projection, because that could potentially invalidate the lawsuit. So that's where we're at. We're waiting for the judge to make a ruling. The first lawsuit is right now in the appeals process, and there will be a hearing on the second lawsuit next week on the 26th. But it is doubtful that the judge will make any ruling at that time. She'll probably just be determining if there is merit to the lawsuit. And that's where we are.
Thank you. Questions? No. Okay. Thank you for coming, Mr. Alvarado.
Thank you.
You've got our number. Okay. Item 7. Consider approval of TASB Board Policy Update 123 for local policies.
Yes, Ms. Barcenas has this one.
So we went ahead and had the first read of the TASB Board update of policy, both legal and local, in July. And so at this time, we're going to ask for you to consider all the revisions, deletions, and additional wording added to the local policies that are listed before you.
Board, you've had that. You have that now. Does anybody need time to go through them? Hearing no questions at this time, there's a recommendation. I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second that we consider the approval of TASB Board Policy Update 123 for additions, revisions, or deletions of policies BBD local, BBFA local, CCGB local, CKC local, CKEA local, CQC local, DCE local, DGBA local, EEH local, EF local, EFA local, EFB local, FNG local, and GF local, and Toy local. Okay, and these are all been presented to us. Hearing no questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that disagree, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Francis. Hmm? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, business and finance, consider approval of schematic design drawings for Southwest Elementary renovation project. And those were presented earlier.
Yes.
Or do you have any questions?
I second.
We have a motion, a second, the board approves the schematic design drawings that have been presented by Garza Baumberger on Southwest Elementary renovation project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Consider the award of RFP 2324-031 Construction Manager at Risk contract for the Southwest Elementary renovation project.
And Thomas.
Yes, sir.
I think that's being
Yes,
handed
ma'am.
out.
So we were handing out, when we originally put the board background in the packet, we did not have the final tally on the way the points shook out yet. So this is an updated version. The district and Garza Baumberger worked together to put out the CMR package. We accepted bids on July 23rd. We received 5 bids, and the prices ranged on the pre-construction and construction phase, $1,719,468 to $2,069,733. We ranked everything based on the selection criteria that was provided in the packet. And after going through that, the best value for the district is Bartlett Cox General Contractors. And you can see the score rating there from the 5 that submitted. So it is our recommendation that the board approve Bartlett Cox General Contractors as construction manager at risk on the Southwest Elementary renovation project. And that contract amount will be for $1,719,468, and it will be coming from the 2023 bond project. Bond.
Can you just remind me what they've done for us in the past?
Bartlett Cox, the last job they did for us was Scobie Middle School. Also, they did the renovation in the 2018 bond. Yes, ma'am. Prior to that, that was the first job they'd actually done with us since, I'm not sure, since before I was here. I'm not sure if they did any jobs previous to that, but they did a really good job at Scobie. They've bid all of our work. They just have never been the low bid on the price. So
And they were the lowest bid.
they were the lowest bid as well, but they also ranked the highest on all the selection criteria.
They also did what?
They came out on top with all the selection criteria. That was, if there was nothing that we found that hurt them in their rankings.
Oh, I know.
We have a motion, a second, that the board approve Bartlett Cox General Contractors as construction manager at risk on the Southwest Elementary renovation project with the contract amount of $1,719,468. Hearing no questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Thomas. And then we've got consider approval of a date for public hearing to discuss 2024-2025 proposed budget.
Yes, sir. We're just recommending August 27th
August
at 5:30 for the public hearing to go over the budget and the tax rate that we're going to be proposing to you.
Any questions?
I second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the date as August 27th at 5:30 for the public hearing to discuss the proposed budget and tax rate. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of the date to finalize the 23-24 final budget amendment and tax rate. That'll be the same date at 6.
Yes, sir.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and second for August 27th at 6 o'clock. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Consider approval of amendments to 2024, 2025 compensation plan.
Yes, sir. We have, put that on right now. So the couple of the presentations tonight, the two stipends that we're asking for approval for the teacher perfect attendance incentive, the additional ADA attendance incentive of $200. We're asking also the board to approve a stipend, or actually a $45 per event for the student filmers for our scoreboards. We'd like to hire some students to run those for us and we'll pay them. We're asking the board, we possibly are going to get a grant from UTSA for a biomedical engineering program, and they're going to provide a stipend for teachers to work through curriculum. Also, we had a request. We're having a hard time getting nurses substitutes, so we're trying to increase that rate to $200 from right now it's $150, and then add an additional cheer sponsor stipend assistant for $3,500.
Is this included in our budget already, or will this, we'll have to amend it?
The most of these will be included, like the engineering will be a grant. The cheer sponsor will be additional to this budget. The workers as well, the two attendants, and those will be fund balance items. But also, I say that these could possibly be items if our revenue grows, especially the teacher one. If we can lower the amount we're spending on substitutes, that may free up funds to pay for the teachers to get the incentive. So there's some mechanisms in place that it won't impact on balance. Possible.
Questions?
I move.
We have a motion and second that we approve the attached updates for the 2024-25 compensation plan as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of construction documents for Juan Alvarado Elementary. Sent it today.
So that's the presentation that was given earlier. I don't know if y'all have any more questions for me on that.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Questions, anyone? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, consider approval of property casualty and liability insurance for the 24-25.
Yes, sir. We use Frost Insurance Agency to help us go out for bid. They're our agent, and so we went out to market this year. We do it every year for our renewals, and so they went out and had multiple bidders bid our property, general liability, automobile. First time in a long time that our actual property is going down. So we're seeing a huge savings there of over $170,000. So that's going to help us budget-wise. The only increases that we saw, though, I know many of you know that this last year we had some issues that happened with our buses, some pretty bad accidents. So that did go up. So we did see an increase in our premium on the automobile. But all the others pretty much either stayed level. We actually went down in cyber, even though in this market, cyber is, they couldn't really explain it. So we're seeing an expiring premium of about 2.8 million, and that got reduced to about 2.6, which helps. Any dollar helps right now in our budget. So we're recommending the board to approve Frost Agent to move forward with these renewals at 2.637, $145,000 or $145.
Questions?
Second.
We have a motion and second. The board approve the purchase of property casualty and liability insurance through Frost Insurance for a cost of $2.637145 for the 24-25 physical year. Questions, anyone? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Curriculum item, okay. Here, one more thing, Dr. Ball.
Well, we got one. Don't worry.
Oh, purchase of student software. I'm
Yes, sir.
sorry.
Last month, the district brought forward the Edgenuity student software. We had a quote for $116,650. The board approved it, but we got an updated quote because we had to add some CAS licenses that weren't on the last quote. So we have an updated quote for $120,275, so like a $4,000 increase. So we're recommending the board to approve the new increase so that we can make the purchases for CAS High School.
Questions? Do you have a question, Dan?
Did you move?
No,
Did somebody move?
I was gonna.
I moved.
I thought I heard you move. Did you move, Joe?
Yes.
Okay, then I second your move.
We have a motion by Joe and a second by Lorinda that we board approve the purchase of Edgenuity licenses at the cost of approximately $120,275.60. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Gracias. Ahora sí. Nothing under curriculum instruction. And now,
I'd really like to take this time to thank our Shack parents that have volunteered. For the longest time, we didn't have 2 volunteers that came on a regular basis and that put as much time and dedication. So I truly applaud y'all. Thank you so much. It's something that is very important to talk about. It's difficult to talk about what we talk about in Shack. I wish we didn't have to talk about that. But even if it saves one life, that's what's important. So we need to talk about those things and make parents aware, make students aware. But so thank y'all for your time. I truly appreciate that. Then I'd also really like to thank all the staff. It has been an amazing 2 days of school. Hopefully Mr. Tamayo is still here and want to say kudos to you and your staff. I got to ride one of the buses. Absolutely an amazing bus driver. Hope Benito gets to hear this because he truly did an excellent job. So thank you to you and all your staff because they get here so early. Winston, you still here, Winston? Okay, he's getting our food ready, but him and his staff also with some of the very early risers, our teachers, our principals, PEAMS clerks, everybody has done just an amazing job. The campuses look great. So Thomas, to you and your crew, Dixie, for helping with all the custodian, concerns and issues that happen every minute. Chief, your police department has been so visible. So thank you for that. It's not perfect. We have a lot of traffic right now. But it is also expected and parents love to bring their children and we're happy about that. But want to commend our staff and my senior staff for helping out so much and being so visible and being at the campuses. And thank you to the board that's also been visiting our campuses. So just wanted to publicly thank all the staff for making this a very smooth start of the school year. And then just a reminder, football season is upon us. So Southwest Legacy will be at Somerset on Thursday. Southwest High School will be here on Friday. Of course, there's scrimmages, but still very exciting. And volleyball season is here and ready to play games. So thank y'all.
Can I add one thing, Sylvester?
Yeah.
I just want to recognize Sandy because Sandy was given the shack when we were when we were informed we had to have a shack, and she's been juggling that shack, trying to just really make it what it needs to be, and with some help, with no help, by herself, with people. And Sandy, thank you for it. Looks like it's finally what it should be, and I appreciate all the hard work you put in on that shack all the time. Thank you.
anyone else? Okay. As permitted by sections 551.001 through 551.146 of the Texas Government Code and pursuant to Government Code 551.074, we will now go into closed session at 7:44. Okay, we'll come back, we'll call in this meeting back at 8:36. Item 11,
I move that we approve the superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
A second.
we have a motion, a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Other business. Anybody have one more thing?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Florinda Bernal. She has become a MAZPA board member, so congratulations. Right?
Yes.
And we're going to be.
Board of Directors.
Board of Directors. And we're going to be going with you there to celebrate.
Thank
Who's
you.
we? Oh. I didn't get it.
Everybody except me. Okay. Any other thing? Board members? Joe, do you have something? No? No? Okay, let's close this meeting and go home at 8:37.